Welcome in everybody to another interview here on Granbury TV. Today we have the Sheriff's Report with Sheriff Roger Deeds. Roger, I appreciate you coming in today and chatting with us. Today is April the 13th, 2012. April the 13th. It could be a goofy day, couldn't it?
It could. Hope not, but
they're having that paranormal thing coming into town, so everything's kind of level. Woohoo! April the Friday the 13th. It's going to be a big day, and you guys have been extraordinarily busy lately. You tell me.
Oh yeah, it kind of comes and goes in spurts, but most time we stay steady all the time. My guys never get bored. I never get bored. We were out late last night. It was a busy day for the narcotics guys yesterday, so we've got lots to talk about as far as arrests. We always have stuff going on.
Always have stuff going on. And, you have your guys out there at the ready at all times. I know that for sure. And let's talk about a case real quickly, though, that's on everybody's mind. Recently, it's been over a month now. 82-year-old William Bill Moore came up missing in the Pecan Plantation area. And I know that there's been a lot of press about it and a lot of speculations all over the place. What's the update on that particular case?
The bad thing is there really isn't an update. We at one point in time I had two investigators working hard on this case to interview the family, look into a lot of different things. We don't feel that anything had ever criminally happened, anything like that, but you got to cover all the bases. So we looked at financial stuff and medical stuff and talking to the family, and we never found anything that he was in good health, just like the family said, and nothing going on at all. And he left his home a little over a month ago to make he had a pretty set routine, according to his family, that he would do all the time. And he was going to town to have lunch, and he was going to go to the auto parts store, and never made it. And so we had a picture of where his vehicle came out the front gate of Pecan Plantation, had it on the camera, where he came out, and that was the last anybody had ever seen him.
Now, he was last seen in his vehicle, and his vehicle has not turned up anywhere, or there's been no sightings of it. Tell us what that vehicle looks like and a description of it or anything. Do you remember?
Well,
just offhand?
I didn't bring those notes. It's an older Dodge pickup. It should be real recognizable because it had some reflective tape across the tailgate.
Okay.
So it should be real recognizable if it's off the road at night. Especially if the back end's facing towards the road, then that reflection off of that, those stripes ought to make it stand out. But we've had, over the course of the last month, we've had 3 reports of possibilities of him being seen. One of them was here in the county, and 2 of them were out of the county. And all of those were investigated, and all of those came up that they were not Mr. Moore. So it's pretty strange that he left home with not much money in his pocket. The credit cards that he had have not been used. That's how we track criminals sometimes, to see where they're at, where they're going, and what they've been up to by credit card activity and phone activity, things like that. And there's been nothing. So we keep looking. The Pecan Plantation Fire Department and just people that have planes went up flying, looking, drove the roads, just like we did, driving the roads. My investigators drove the roads and looking everywhere. Had the Brazos River Authority out in the lake, any place where there was a boat ramp or a roadway close to the lake. They're out there in the boats. They have that sonar. And they have not picked up anything. And they even went out a couple different times to check, because we had the storms that came through and raised the lake level, and ever since that happened, then the lake has been pretty stirred up with debris floating down and all of that. And so they went out a second time, and still they have not found anything. So it appears that he's most likely probably not in the county, but where he is, we don't know. The east side of the county, where he came out the front gate, if you turn to the right to go down Fall Creek Highway to the end and Massey Road, there's some heavily wooded areas out there that we've tried to search all that just as good as we can over and over again. But there's so much traffic out there with people. I don't know how anybody could get lost out there, but we don't have any information where he is, and so we're just kind of in a holding pattern. All my deputies talk about it all the time, and they look for it, the vehicle all the time, as they're driving around on normal routine patrol or when they're going on a call. They're always looking for that vehicle, so everybody's got a picture of that vehicle and him and the license plate information. So he's entered in the database that covers across the nation. We just checked again the other day to see if that vehicle went through any toll roads, toll booths, anything like that, and it'll be registered, and it has not been, and never. So this is a strange one. In my time as sheriff, this has been the second incident that I've been involved with. The first one was 10, 12 years ago with another lady out of Decordova that never was found, and she was finally declared legally dead, and the family is moving on. And then there was another one I know back in the 80s that came up missing, and we never found them. So you hear about this stuff across the country from time to time, and you hear good stories from time to time
where they're found,
and they had a sudden onset of Alzheimer's, dementia, and then all of a sudden kind of came back to reality, and they were located. But in this case, we've been over a month and no news of any kind. So strange.
Well, it's a big mystery, and I know that you'll keep us updated if something comes up in future reports, and we can follow that. One thing is that he probably didn't find any, come up against any, bad people due to the fact that you usually have. That's where the credit cards and following that sort of thing would come up.
Yeah, so we don't have any reason to suspect
foul play
at all. So we'll keep on looking, and hopefully we can bring some closure to this, and we always hope it'll be good. We'll see.
Now, before we get to the arrest portion of the segment, because I wanted to bring something up. We've had recent tornadoes in and around the area, and just devastation over in the Tarrant County area and in Dallas County, and over in Forney and East Texas, and it was just all through there. And then the fires that we had last year at Possum Kingdom and north of us, it brings to light, and it brought to my mind the fact that we are very, very well suited for anything that, because of the plant, we have a very nice disaster response facility in your building. There, you want to talk a little bit about that real quick?
Yeah, well, because Comanche Peak Nuclear Power Plant came into being, part of their requirement to keep their license to operate is that Hood County and Somerville County have to be on top of things as far as emergency planning. I was the emergency management coordinator for a number of years, and now Brian Fine is, and so we have a lot of plans in place for just any type of emergency. But where it's all coordinated from is in the Emergency Operations Center that's located in the Law Enforcement Center in my office. And it's a big room that we've got dispatch right next door, so we can keep in contact with the firemen, the EMS, the law enforcement people out in the field of whatever type of disaster they might be working on from an incident command post, and any kind of resources that they might need. Then they're going to make that request through the dispatch and then into the Emergency Operations Center, where the judge will be there, and if it's a city emergency, then the mayor would be there, and commissioners could be there, council people could be there, and then any other resources we might need. So if people are hurt, the hospital's going to be a part of that. If we need buses to move people out of out of an area for a fire or flood or whatever and have to move a lot of people in a big hurry, we'll request the school buses, and then so we'll have a representative from the school there to help us coordinate all of that. The state comes in once the judge declares a disaster on a local level. Then we can request a lot of different things from the state, like more troopers to help us with diverting traffic on the roads, roadblocks, a lot of things like that. So we can get DPS if we need a helicopter, if we need, a number of years ago when we had the floods, I requested the military vehicles that can transport a lot of people in them and get through the flood waters. So they brought a few of those in when we needed them at a couple different times back in June a number of years ago. There's a lot of different things that we can request and do. So somebody from the state will be in there, or maybe a couple of people from the state. When we're dealing with the Comanche Peak, then we have the radiological people. If that happens, we have drills all the time. Every year we have drills. And so that particular room gets full of a lot of people that can help coordinate with the nuclear power plant, coordinate with the state, coordinate with the federal resources, even if we need that. So it's a big room that's set up for giving and taking information and making sure we can get the resources that the people need for taking care of the citizens as far as emergency responders. And so we've used it a number of times for a lot of different things: fires, floods, missing children, SWAT operations, you name it, it comes in real handy, and we just get the people in there that we need for whatever type of emergency we have. But if we need everybody to come, then it's standing room only in there.
Well, you know, I tell you, Chief Deputy Biff Temple took me through the facility once and toured it, and I'm going to say that it was very impressive, the way that everything was structured and organized, and I'm an organized type person, so it really struck me as impressive, the way everything is set up, and how if something was to go down, and Chief Deputy Temple, he went through the whole process with me, and I thought that was astounding, because if something happens, Hood County, this area, is probably more prepared for something more disastrous to happen to it than probably any other county around us.
Yeah, we are definitely prepared and ready to go. The Metroplex, they're prepared and ready to go also. The federal government helps them, bigger cities, lots of money. And then here we are out in the kind of a rural area. We have to be ready for anything because of the nuclear power plant. But that makes us ready for anything else that might happen.
Right.
We did put in for a grant, and we did receive that grant to build a new emergency operations center. And so our plan at this point, we haven't actually received any money yet, but we're working on all the preliminary paperwork, and we've got a lot of it approved, and we're just about to that point of being ready to go to actually build a building. And the plan right now is to build a building across the street from my building.
Okay.
And so it won't be attached anymore, because the problem is we just don't have enough room. So we need a bigger facility that'll hold more people and do more things and make those emergency responses just easier. So we're looking at getting like a 6,000 or 7,000 square foot building over there. We'd like to build bigger, but the money isn't there right now. So we did get the grant, and we're going to be able to do something. And we have a couple of years to complete this program and get this emergency operations center up and running. And so we're looking forward to that, to better serve the citizens of the county.
Well, I was very, very impressed, and you know, the dedication of the people involved, like you mentioned before, the drills and the procedures of going through a certain checklist and going down on who to call and when to call and how to call. That just impressed me to a very high level, and I commend everybody involved in that process.
Well, we have to, my deal as in the past as emergency management coordinator, and now as sheriff too, I have to plan for the worst but hope for the best. And I don't want to have anything happen to the citizens of the county that I can't respond to their needs and take care of them. So myself and the judge and Brian, we're trying trying to stay on top of all of this all the time, the ever-changing issues and problems that could come up, and to keep everybody here in Hood County safe. So that's what it's all about.
Well, that is what it's all about, keeping them safe, and you've been keeping them safe here lately. That stack of papers is just daunting. We've got to get right to it. You've had some activity in the area, and you guys have been right on top of it.
Oh yeah, my deputies, they definitely have job security. There's always plenty going on. We're very busy all the time with things, just wide range of different things. And the first one on the top here is we got a man that was arrested for aggravated assault. And on the 4th of April, Joshua Ray Roscoe, 30 years old, was transported from Wise County to Hood County on an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon charge. That's a felony too, and bond was set at $15,000. The charge stemmed from an incident that occurred on September 5th of 2011 at the 3900 block of Greenbrook Street in Oak Trail Shores. Roscoe struck a 42-year-old male in the face with a tire tool during a disturbance. The victim was transported to Lake Granbury Medical Center for treatment and was later released. And Roscoe was released from jail on the 5th and is out on bond now.
You know, it seems to me like that. It was just an argument that just escalated. And just people need to learn how to keep their heads cool without resorting to something like that. That's just unfortunate.
A lot of times that's what happens though. So it's easy for us to say keep
right.
your cool, but sometimes that doesn't always happen.
It doesn't always happen.
We had another incident the other night that on the 11th around 4 a.m. Hood County Sheriff's deputies responded to the 800 block of Highway 377 to a possible burglary in progress. This was a city call, but my guys, if they're available, they're gonna come and they're gonna help. The deputies were the first on scene and apprehended one suspect and assisted in the capture of a second suspect.
Oh my goodness.
So I guess the city will have more news for you, but it's Antonio Darnell Johnson, 20 years old, and Maurice Lamont Davis, 24 years old, were arrested and charged with burglary of a building, state jail felony, and bond, I guess hadn't been set, and evading arrest. And that's a Class A misdemeanor, and both are still in jail. So this just happened the other night. I know that this morning they will be arraigned, so the bond will be set at that time. But I know my deputies, the one in particular that got involved, he was pretty pumped up. He was pretty happy that he was in the right place at the right time when all that went down. So helping the city to take care of crime.
There you go. It's good. All working together.
Yep. Then yesterday was an extremely busy day where we had the DEA had contacted us and they said, we got some arrests we need you to help us with. So no problem. I'm always one for everybody working together and getting along together. So yesterday at around 6 a.m., Sheriff's Office Narcotics Unit and deputies assisted the DEA on serving several federal warrants.
Wow.
And conducted a search warrant at 209 Bobby Ann Court in the city of Granbury, out in one of the subdivisions. 3 males were arrested during the operation. Details of the federal investigation cannot be released at this time due to the case still is being investigated.
Right.
We didn't know where they were going exactly when they asked for our help, but it ended up, it was in the city. So that's always a good thing. And then the investigators were really busy tying up loose ends with that, and some money was seized, the vehicle was seized, and people went to jail. And before they had the paperwork done really off all that, they got more information and had to turn right around and follow up on another few leads where we had a marijuana dealer that was arrested in Cordova after it was all over and done with. But on the 12th at around 3 p.m., the narcotics unit was conducting a drug investigation and arrested Zachary Allen Baselli, 32 years old, for possession of marijuana. That's a felony 3, and bond will be set this morning, so I don't know what that is quite yet. And he was arrested at his home at the 4200 block of Mojave Drive in Cordova. Baselli was found to be in possession of 11 pounds of hydro marijuana.
Wow.
There was
that's a lot.
There was, yeah, it's a lot. It was in 3 big containers. So I really figured there was a whole lot more. When to look at it, I went out there last night too to look at it. I thought there's 20, 30 pounds worth, but I guess when you weigh it all up, then it's not that much. But 11 pounds of hydro marijuana, that's the high quality stuff. And the hydro marijuana is being sold for around $20 a gram on the streets.
$20 a gram.
The street value of the marijuana is $98,000.
I was trying to do the math in my head, Sheriff. $98,000.
Yep.
Wow! Congratulations. That's big.
That was a big one, and so he is currently in jail and awaiting the judge to come in and set his bond.
Yeah, there's not many high times for him right now, is there?
No, and I don't think he had a criminal record, so I guess he just saw it as a good opportunity to try to make some extra money. That kind of backfired on him. Last time I checked, Sheriff, marijuana is illegal. It is. I know there's, like California, that they have kind of legalized some of that. They have the medical marijuana, and so there's people that would like it to be legal, but with me, in some ways, my job is easy. Like a doctor, you're practicing to medically cure people and take care of them, and doctors are practicing law,
right? And
there's gray areas in there, and it could be this, could be that. The doctor's the same thing, but with me as a sheriff, it's cut and dried. Here's the law, it's in black and white. You either did it or you didn't.
That's right.
And so as long as it's on the books that marijuana is illegal to possess and sell, then you're going to go to jail.
It just amazes me sometimes. It's very simple that way. It's either legal or it's not legal. And if it's not legal, it's either wrong or right. And if it's the other way, you just don't need to do it.
Correct. So
just don't need to do it.
That's the way I look at it. I'm not going to take sides. I'm just going to say, here it is in black and white.
Right.
As long as it's on the books as being illegal, then whatever it maybe is, I'm going to enforce the laws of the state of Texas.
There you go. There you go. And of course, we've got the big one, the big Crime Stoppers of the week. And I know this is going to be a good one.
Yep. So Crime Stoppers needs information on a burglary. This burglary occurred at a residence on Pleasant Court sometime within the past 30 days. The victim reported stolen a Winchester 12-gauge long Tom shotgun with a gold trigger and a Mossberg 20-gauge bolt-action shotgun with a fingertip choke. Anyone with information on this burglary can call Crime Stoppers at 817-573-TIPS or go online at hoodcountycrimestoppers.com. You will remain anonymous, and if your tip leads to arrest, you can receive up to $1,000 cash reward.
That's absolutely right. And well, it's not good to go burglarizing people and taking their stuff. And so if you have any information, call that number, and you can get some money on that.
Yeah, we need all the help we can get, because it's bad when people get burglarized and lose their property. But this with guns really scares me when we got a stolen gun, or two in this case, out on the street. So we need to find those and get them returned, because I don't need anybody getting hurt with a stolen gun. I don't need anybody getting hurt anyway, but this bothers me that somebody's stole some shotguns and are out there on the street.
Well, I know this weekend's going to be big. It's Friday the 13th, so it could be a little weird tonight. But then this weekend, we got some showers coming in, and I know you're going to try to enjoy the weekend as best you can.
We're going to try. I know tomorrow night is the cancer thing out there at the moving grounds, and I was planning on going out there, and so hopefully it'll be a good weekend. And as far as today, you just got to think positive.
Absolutely. Think positive.
It's Friday the 13th, but think positive. It'll be a good day.
Stay away from the black cats and the ladders. Absolutely. Well, I appreciate it, Roger. Thanks for coming in today. This has been another Granbury interview on Granbury TV.